Okie dokie. So I spared you the trip here, to be honest. It is hot as hell. They said that today feels like 109. I feel every, well, all of it really. And it doesn't help the fact that Saharan sand has made its way to Florida. So, water quality isn't the best. Sky is hazy. Sun is, it's kind of like a milky sort of thing. The smell, if I had to describe it, it's kind of sort of like you're breathing in sand without actually breathing in sand, if that makes any sense. Because when you go to the ocean, you know, you have the ocean smell. If you go to the desert, you get that desert sort of situation going on. And this is kind of sort of like it. From what I understand, Sahara desert comes across the ocean every year. Sometimes it's worse, sometimes it's really bad. So it's kind of sort of what it is. So the reason why I'm here is to do the stretch of the trail which I couldn't find last time. So we're back to this intersection. We're going from the backside. The yellow trail that I came from is that way. So today we're gonna do this, and we're also going to do another portion that I've missed last time, but I've missed it intentionally. It's supposed to parallel each other. So we're gonna see what's out here. Off to the left we have a swamp. And you know, today doesn't really help it that it's been raining cats and dogs lately, and everything is kind of soggy, and then it begins to dry up and then you get drenched again. So the soil is kind of soft. We had really bad case of mosquitoes. That didn't help it any. So I was holding off going hiking, but it looks like, you know, sun is drying it enough for the mosquitoes to take a hike for the moment. So I'm taking this opportunity to come out here and enjoy the hike. Oh, look at this. There's deer tracks up here on the ground. It would be really cool to actually see deer. Not like the hind leg from 70 yards away, but actually up close. Here in Florida, deer are skittish, very jumpy. They love, for whatever reason, they absolutely love hanging around swampy parts where the grass is like this tall and you can't find them. And the only time you see them is when they jump higher than the grass. And off in the distance you see like a white bushy tail, which is kind of funny because the deer up north has short tail. Well, they still have a tail, but it's relatively short. The deer out here, their tail is, I don't know, at least a foot long, if not longer. And it's really bushy and really white. Unless, of course, you go to the Keys. If you watch some of my Florida Keys videos, especially from Big Pine, their deer are as tall as a dog and very friendly and practically walk between your feet. They are preserved over there and protected away from the tourist areas. So they're running amok. Really adorable. In terms of hunting, I don't know if there's a season here in Florida for them. Considering there's not that many of them to begin with, I'd have a hard time believing that this far south you're allowed to hunt. But that being said, they're really not worth it. You know, it's not like they have giant big antlers or a lot of meat on them. Here they're like gazelles, very lean, very sort of fit into the climate that's out here. And at best, and I'm saying like best case scenario, there are maybe 6, maybe 9 pointers. Those are hunting terms, which I don't know what they mean, but I'm guessing it's how many tips of antlers there are. I haven't seen any Florida deer with like a classic big deer rack. They typically have maybe 2, maybe 4 points at most. Usually like 3 on each side, so probably 6. So it's gotta be like this, huh? Out in the sun. You know, once again, I didn't bring my hat, this time actually intentionally. And I didn't bring sun lotion, again intentionally. Thing is, it is so hot. Dang, look at this tree. Nice and big and thick. This guy over there, that guy over there, that guy over there, and that. But yeah, unfortunately, you need to sweat. And typical sunscreen begins to run. And heaven forbid it, you get it into your eyes. The whole situation just turns into... I've been caught in that situation. My mom has been caught in that situation. But as for the hat, again, that's another thing, you know. When you sweat, you lose heat through your head. So when you wear a hat, yes, it protects you from the sun, but you feel so much hotter. Or at least the rest of your body. It's not exactly optimal. So here you could see that they've been spraying stuff. Otherwise this wouldn't be dead like this. This was probably a patch of Kogan. And if you look up in the sky all around me, see how it's all hazy? That's that Sahara sand I was talking about. Have to stop every once in a while to drink. Stay hydrated. And preferably stay in the shade if I could help it. So here you're going to notice several things. Because this is abandoned, formerly mined land, to either side of me, you're going to see big spoil piles. And then in between them, you're going to see valleys like the one I'm walking in right now. And dips and stuff like this. So what this is, when they were digging, they have ginormous cranes with buckets. They call them drag lines. And they perch themselves up on top of the minecart and begin scooping. And typically, there's some sort of animal over there. Good thing I looked. Bushy tail. I'm tempted to say that's a coyote, but he hasn't perked himself up. So, definitely not a hog. Any event. So this over here, the swamp, is the minecart. And so is that. And I have to be really careful because there could be a mystery alligator here. That's the bottom of the cut. And now we're going uphill to the top of the cut. And here behind the trees, there's a cliff. So the reason why we're walking ever so gently is because somebody took a bulldozer and put this road out here. But actually, the grade is much steeper. Wait a minute. You know, they couldn't even get that portion right. For crying out loud. Last time when I was out here, I assumed that was the campground, which is not. And this time when I took the trail, I assumed that this was the trail, which again it's not. So let's go ahead and check the map. See what we're looking at. Well, that was it. So I need to come out and and what? Oh, just fantabulous. Even the old trails maps, they're not showing what I need to see. But I'm gonna go this way because that's the direction where I decided to go through the cut before. So the old trails map is wrong. The county map is wrong. Anyways. But yeah, see, right now we're on top of that berm. And normally, in terms of the operations, see how steep it is over there? Now, if this wasn't abandoned, like if this was in use, that would have probably become a settling area for clays to consolidate, and you wouldn't see all those trees over there. But a lot of technology has changed, and things are different with reclamation rules and other things. This would have been reclaimed. So if you look that way, where the grass is green on the other side, yeah, the grass is green on the other side. That's where the presumed red shell is supposed to be. But that's not what we're doing. And it's supposed to be connecting like over here somewhere. So there's probably an offshoot right there-ish. Yep. See, this is how they want you to come on that trail over there. So let's go ahead and check the trail map. Huh. You know what, maybe we'll take it on the way back. I don't know. Just not too particularly inclined to walk out in the sun. It's amazing to look at all of this in a completely different light. Because when I was here last weekend, everything was dry, arid, everything was very, what's the word I'm looking for? Like all the moisture got sucked out of it. And now after all this rain, it's the exact opposite. Everything is damp and soft and soggy and very interesting. And same exact trees and same exact trails, just looks completely different. Like the tones of and the colors of things are softer and very sort of like muted, if I had to guess. Nothing pops. Yeah, everything is very, like this is what is typical for Florida for, I would say, probably majority of the year. Where you get that afternoon thunderstorm every day, and everything is exactly like it. Alright, so if my memory serves me right around the corner here, that should be the portion of the trail that I intentionally skipped. And supposed to be two parallel tracks there and back again sort of deal. So we're gonna be making a left after I catch my breath. A second. Days like this, it's critical that you are staying on top of your conditioning. It says that today, right now it's 91, but the high will be 98. 55% humidity, and it says that it feels like 100 degrees right now. So that way, the way it works in Florida climate is if your humidity is 50% or higher, you can pretty much add 10 degrees to the ambient temperature. So that's why they're saying 100. And once it gets to 98, it's going to be 108. And I'm hoping that I'll be alone and gone out of here by then. Oh, more deer tracks. All right. Now here is a little paradox. Most people walking and hiking in Florida near water will be looking towards the left-hand side where the water is without realizing that alligators like to camp out on the right-hand side away from the water. So you need to have your eyes peeled and be on your guard, because they tend to build nests there and sit over there and then crawl back to their hole over there. It's a little bit of a misnomer that people believe that alligators just sit in the water. Alligators walk through the forest. They walk on asphalt, in the sand, swim in the ocean if they have to. Which, yes, they do go to the beach. Even alligators like to go to the beach. So on to the hiking experience. Today I'm carrying a slightly different assortment of things in my backpack. I took out my camcorder. Took out my GoPro, took out all the batteries and all the SD cards, and I put the drone back in the backpack, just like the first time. And I also put 2 extra water bottles. And I did that because I anticipated today to be hot. So my water pack holds about, I don't know, I'm guessing 4 bottles. So that will make it 6. But I'm doing it for a couple of reasons, really. I'm planning a trip to the Grand Canyon in the future and hoping to catch a mule ride. Obviously, I can't. I mean, I probably could, but it would be hell to pay if I actually hiked, because I can't carry tents and other things with me. So more than likely I'm gonna do the mule ride to the bottom and back. And from what I understand, it gets all the way to 120 degrees out there, hot as hell. So if I could trim my backpack to hold, say, nothing but water plus some SD cards and, you know, minimal batteries and other things, it would be a much easier experience. So I'm testing out the backpack now, despite the fact that Grand Canyon trip isn't anywhere near or close, or soon for that matter. Alright, let's go here. Look at that. Just checking out to see if there's an alligator out there, which this probably is a whole bunch. I think I see one there-ish. So we have an alley of Spanish moth. Look at that. So beautiful and yet so deadly to the trees. Oh. If you look that way, that's an actual minecart. All the way on the bottom. Probably 60 feet deep if I had to guess. Which, as tempting as it is to walk next to the, it will be a bad idea. You never know what soil conditions are like, and you could slip in there and kiss your life goodbye. Let me see if I could get closer here without getting too close. See how deep it is over there? Wow, that's an interesting contrast. Last weekend when I was here, my sweat was evaporating faster than you could say that you were sweating. This weekend, it's exactly the opposite. My sweat sits on top of my skin. Actually feeling kind of cool, but it's nonetheless dangerous because it's very easy to still get heat exhaustion and the whole 9 yards. Gotta say, it is kind of weird. Oh, look at that, a wild orange tree. If you look that way, see that orange? It's not at all uncommon in Florida. There's a lot of, there's a lot of wild orange trees out here. I'm guessing with the hurricanes and people just throwing out orange peels and other things over the years, you get to see a lot of wild oranges. I've even seen some avocados before. All right, so what do we have here? Here you have to be extra careful. It's tempting to just run down the hill, but that's how you roll your ankle. So look at this. Look off to the left of me. Those trees are eventually going to calm down. Every time it rains, it washes out soil just a little bit so much, and then it falls. Look at this stuff. Here's a tire right there with a white wall on it. See that? White walls were popular on cars all the way back in 40s and 50s or so. So this tire has been here for like 70 years, if not longer. Because this was mined back in 40s and 50s and 60s and stuff. Taking a look around to see if there's any deer. No luck. It would be really nice to see a herd of them. But I'm just not that lucky, am I? Here on the right side you could see crevasse. The reason why it's flat out here is because of a special technique. There's some animal over there. There's a special technique. Come on, animal. No? Alright. It's called benching. So the way that works is, obviously there's only so deep that you could dig with the equipment that you have. So to go deeper, you have to essentially provide yourself a lower point of elevation. And so what they would do is if you ever look at like gold mines and the typical engineering marvels video on TLC or whatever is the Discovery Network, you see those giant mines that go way, way, way deep. Well, this is what they do. It's called benching. They've dug over there, and then this is flat, and they would walk the equipment here, and then they would start digging there. Have to say, other than this horsefly that's pissing me off, knock on wood, there's no mosquitoes yet. I am in a swampy area at the moment, so I'm hoping they'll just stick to their swampy stuff and not chase after me. Right now I have 3 horseflies. And 4. And a mosquito. Whoops. Come on. Look at this. Oh wow. Now I have a whole herd of them. Oh. There's a whole bunch of them. Alright, can't stop. Have to keep going. Hoping to outrun them. The thing is, I'm waking them up as I'm going. Because they're in the grass chilling, waiting for their next victim. And here I am, the only thing walking by. Well, with no thanks to the horseflies, this has turned from pleasurable to a rather crappy experience. Bastards. And I can't help it, because if you look all around me, it's their prime habitat. There's like little streams and brooks and little swamps, and everything is soggy. This is up here is a running water body, so it must be draining into all those cuts from up above, but not before turning into a swamp again. Here, Mr. Alligator. This is their prime chilling spot. To be in places like this. escape from the heat, be in the shade, have a little bit of water. And considering all the uprooting here, it means that there's hogs. So that's where they camp out and hunt. The thing about alligators is, as difficult as they are to spot in the water when they're concealing themselves, it's even harder to spot them out here because they're typically covered in leaves and grass and other things. Alright, I think the horseflies have largely left me behind, or rather the other way around. At least for time being. Because it was getting ridiculous there for a minute. Okay, I don't want to lose my way, so I'm gonna do my due diligence and check a map. Where's my whole trails map? Okay. Saying goes, we're cooking with oil. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna double back that way and then go towards the so-called campground, because I've already done everything else out here. Still recording? Yes, we are. Oh, I'm also testing a new feature in which I just let the camera run instead of turning it off all the time. So if this was a GoPro, it wouldn't be an issue, because GoPros, you could pretty much time lapse all you want to your heart's content. This camera is very fickle. If it records anything and then doesn't save, then you SOL, because there's absolutely no way, unlike with a GoPro, to recover the file. At least with the GoPro, they make programs that take .mp4 or .mov and allow you to salvage the video. Insta360 cameras don't do such a thing. They have their own proprietary mechanism, and if it doesn't save, that's it. The entire file is worthless. All gigabytes and gigabytes of it. So I was saving it, well, last weekend, every 10-15 minutes. Now I just let it run. Oop, more deer tracks. Whew. All right. Don't get fooled. You know, I consider myself to be Wait a minute. Are you kidding me? Alright, the old trails thing is wrong again. Okay, whatever, you know what? Because last time I went that way. Interesting. Because it does go this direction and then comes back, but then it also continues that way. You know, it just... whatever. Should I go and check it out? It's tempting. Yeah, let's go and check it out. Just to see what's out there. I figure there's a whole bunch more trails. Simply because this used to be an active sort of... or at least look in that direction and see what's out there. Because this trail tells you to go where we just came from. Right? And then that trail goes that way somewhere. Maybe it just goes for a second and then who knows? We'll see. See it? It's an established trail that leads you to somewhere. In more ways than just one. Look at it. It goes. See this? Well, that goes over there, obviously, but this must be going somewhere. The problem is if you take this trail and it leads you astray, there's no way to come back unless you double back all the way back, because if there's a cut in there and a swamp, it is no good. Well, what do you think? See, there's trail markings. So maybe this used to be a trail at some point. One A. The downside to walking here is the blood-sucking horseflies are back. Look at this guy. Old dying giant, covered in fungus and other things. Yep. Oh, this is a good time to talk about water-resistant footwear. A lot of people think they don't need proper hiking boots. This is exactly the reason why you get a pair, because your hiking boots are made for stuff like this. They're not necessarily waterproof, but they're most certainly water-resistant. And you do not want to be hiking and having wet feet. Unfortunately, and obviously, this doesn't save you from responsibility of keeping your feet wet no matter what, but still. Look at that. You know, it's interesting that forest management is coming out here to mow, but they don't have it in the trail system. So either they're planning to add trails, or this used to be a trail that they used to have that they took out, or they just want a weary traveler like myself to accidentally find it and be surprised by it. It would be hilarious if I run up against a colony of nudists or something. You never know. This is Florida after all. Alright, let's check out the map. Where we are. I'm hoping that there's a way to come back to the right, because if we keep going in this direction, eventually we'll come up on a different park, and that's not where I parked. I don't want to be doing the asphalt shuffle on the side of the highway. Look at this guy. Well, has a fern and stuff growing out of it. It's an ancient giant. Beautiful. Whew. Look at it. This guy over here, that guy over there, and then obviously this. This is native Florida for you. Through and through. So to get you an idea of where we are, while hiking I kept pointing down, look down, look down. Well, we are on the other side of that area. Oh, look, pretty flowers. Oh my goodness, humidity is going up. So we might be pushing 98 a lot sooner than I thought. And I should mention once again that I am quite tolerant of the heat through and through, but it doesn't mean uh-oh, alligator over there. Grunting. Hear that? Sorting out territory with another alligator. Oh, look at this. How pretty. Field of flowers. Starting to get some pines. See, we're coming out rather of the swamp into higher elevations. It is crazy. Like, nature is so. Oh, there's another wild orange tree right there. It's crazy how nature just adapts. Oh, deer! You saw that, guys? Beautiful. That was a doe. If I'm lucky, that might be another one or another couple. That was Florida deer for you. And if I wasn't talking, I may have. I mean, granted, their hearing is amazing, but still. Look at that. Beautiful deer. Okie dokie. This could be the meadow from, yeah, I think that's it. Is it? Probably. Yeah, that's the meadow from last weekend. And this is where I rested last time, up here on this hill. All right. Well, if I give myself a little bit of rest, I might be able to double back on. Should I? Too lazy. And it's hot. I don't know. Let me think about it. Check the map out. trying to plan my route so that because going that way is 0.6 miles, plus that, so 0.7. Going this way is shaded. But a little bit longer. Decisions. Alright, let's go this way. It's shaded. I apologize for taking time. Yeah, say the least. Just trying to make do with options that I have, if you know what I'm saying. Because the longer I stay out of the sun, the more strength I have for the way back, which I intend to do in the sun. So we're gonna take this high road, proverbially and metaphorically and physically speaking. So yes, territorially we are on the high side of this hill. We were way down there before. And one thing that like really behooves me is I look around, and even here, away from people, away from civilization and stuff, if you look way off in the bushes somewhere, you're bound to find human trash. A magazine. Like, who brings a magazine on a hiking trail? A beer? Who brings a beer on a hiking trail? There's like physically no way that a magazine should migrate its way out here. Or beer. And here we have the exact opposite of on the bottom. It's drying up really quick. Humidity changed. I could feel my sweat being sucked out of me. So interesting to see all this. You know, we're talking 70-year-old vegetation. Nature finds a way. Comes in, takes over, reclaims. 70 years. And you get yourself a full-blooded forest. Right in the middle of effectively a moonscape that was left out here. Such a privilege to be able to be out here and just see how nature finds a way. So the reason why I'm kind of coming back and doing all of this is because I think this may be my last time out here. So I'm just trying to capture as much as I can so that I could go and enjoy other areas. Maybe I'll come back here some other time. We'll see. But in order for you to be able to enjoy and appreciate things, you have to be able to enjoy and appreciate them. And to do that, you have to go and see different places, no matter how much you like the one that you're in right now. A little bit of a development since last weekend. As you know, I'm nursing my injuries from a car accident. And so, one thing that has been an issue all this time, oh, look at this. All this time is that my knee brace rubs on my leg. And I've tried to do everything. I've put tape in there and band-aids, and over time of hiking I just kind of got used to it. But I finally broke down and ordered me. It's a special sleeve that you put underneath your knee brace and then over it to effectively prevent that from happening. And then another thing that I also ordered is the sleeve that goes on top of the knee brace. And reasoning for that is so that when I'm in the water, like swimming or something, jumping off a cliff like I did in Lake Jocassee, but I didn't do it without a brace. Well, I did it without the brace because my straps tend to come off. So when we were doing Tallulah Gorge and doing the sliding rock and whatnot, I actually taped them with duct tape. But this time I'm gonna have a proper cover on the outside, giving a little bit of a protection to the brace, and more importantly, keeping the straps in place. And eventually it will be in use when I go back to scuba diving. In case you're wondering, I got tired a long time ago. Just hasn't talked about it yet. My pace is really, I'm trying to hold it together sort of in one swift, or at least maintain the same speed. But it's becoming progressively more difficult because it's getting hot and it's taking its toll. But I gotta persevere because that's what I'm here for. Go hiking, enjoying all this stuff. The only difference between now and last time is, last time I was actually taking, let me see, I took 3 or 4 breaks. This time I've taken 3 like really microscopic breaks. And my body is letting me know. Hello there, Mr. Alligator. That's kind of the reason why camcorder is a perfect tool for those that hike, because you can't capture anything over there with a GoPro or any wild angle camera like 360 camera. It just doesn't work like that. But carrying a DSLR is really heavy, and camcorder is a perfect tool for the job. That's the reason why I got my 1/4" 20 bolts. Not for lack of better trying, I listed my DSLR on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace, much to no avail, of course. Now with the coronavirus, people are far more cautious with their finances. Oh, a cardinal. Yes, so this is what we did. We went from there, that way, came back here, went this way, went all the way around, went back here, and now we're going back this way again. Because last time we did that trail, so there's a lot of double backing today to be able to hit the trails in the right places. Ooh, humidity shot up again. I don't know if you noticed, but several times I've been doing those crossings. I actually stick my hiking poles away from me, just in case, because you never know. If somebody comes from either direction, at least I have a little bit of a deflection from my body, rather than keeping them upright, allowing them closer to me. See, cicadas are back again. Now I gotta say, another thing that makes today a little bit more difficult than otherwise is just this whole Saharan desert thing. Breathing in all this dust probably isn't all that healthy. I thought about hiking with a mask, but honestly, who wants to hike with a mask? The bright side is, once I get to a high point, it's all downhill from there. But it's just getting there first. Still going up the hill. I gotta say, this roller coaster of humidity is really does a number on you. Like you sweat and you're dripping with, and then you start coming up the hill, and all of it just vanishes off your body, and then you go down the hill again, and you just soak it. It is crazy. All right, so now we should be coming up on a turn to go to the Forgotten Hike. With alleged campground somewhere where people could come with tents and enjoy the. See, this is what I was talking about in my last video. This up here is a hiking marker, and you're supposed to see it because it's like, well, it's gone. Either fell by itself or somebody toppled it. Here's another one over there. If I didn't stare at it long enough, I wouldn't have known. All right, onward we go. So the only detour now would be for the campground, or a camp spot, and pretty much entire road back will be straight back to the parking lot. Oh, look at this giant tree. Just falling apart at the seams. Look at it. That's sad. Alright, so now you're gonna get a really good idea of just how steep those mine cuts are. Now this is not the deepest by any stretch of the means, but this is a good example of, like, when you picture a drag line. Oh, look at all the baby cypresses over there. When you picture a drag line, think of city block in Manhattan. Okay, now make it about 300 feet long. That's the length of the boom typically. The bucket is big enough for a dump truck to drive into, and the actual physical drag line is about the city block and about 30 or 40 stories tall. So those cranes are humongous by comparison. And so the reason why I'm spending so much time out here is just to demonstrate you, so you get an idea. Like, this is where its bucket would be, right here, digging, right here. Okay, take a look here. We're way on the bottom. And mind you that this is not even the deepest end, because there's probably some depth to the mine cuts, but see this? The drag line would be sitting all the way over there and on the top. digging all the way over there. And this is a small drag line, because now they're like 3 or 4 times bigger than the ones back in the 40s. As a matter of fact, now they make them so big that they quite often outpace the production line. And so it's not uncommon for big drag lines to switch buckets to slow down, or just stop mining entirely for everybody to catch up. It's a giant operation, that's what that is. Oh, what a swell place to put a campground. Surrounded by mosquitoes. I already have them buzzing around my ears. And you said that Florida is a flat state. What does that look like to you? Going up and down and up and down. The trick now is not to get delirious, because it's very easy to, in the state of physical exhaustion, to abandon caution and stop drinking and all that stuff. The trick here is to continue enjoying and continue with a... What is this? Oh. Okay. This underneath my feet is Florida sugar sand. Very soft. Very easy to get stuck, which is why it's highly advisable, if you ever drive down places like this, to have a 4x4 and not get stuck. I gotta say, for a hiking place, this is just an absolute gem. Through and through. I mean, hands down. You get, if you have a lot of time to kill and want to come here more than once, I mean, look at it. You got completely different ecosystems. That's crazy. You could pursue a different route every time you come out here and have a completely different hiking experience. You got Florida scrub habitat, you got Florida swamp habitat, you got the pines, you got the oaks, hammocks, you got the grasslands and fields. What a pleasure. What an absolute treat. Such a wonderful place to visit. Have to be careful because I don't want to miss the campground thing. Oh, well, there's still ways. Ooh. There's one. All right. Look at that. This is what I was talking about. Pine on this side, palmetto palm on this side. This is a completely different ecosystem. Same hiking area. I don't know if microphone is picking this up. Somebody's shooting in the background, which is common in rural Florida. People shoot. Target practice, that sort of stuff. Well, on one hand, I am blessed that Saharan desert is here. On the other hand, considering I don't have my sunscreen or my hat or shade for that matter, might be getting sunburned right about now. There's like 5 different species of something I've never ever seen before. Vegetation. I don't know if it's native, invasive, or what, but after 13 plus years of living in Florida, this is the first time that I see it. Which shows you the importance of coming out to places like this and having a blast exploring. Wow. You know, it even smells different here. It smells very like dry pine and pine needles, and very arid, very, I could feel the sweat rapidly evaporating from my body, just being sucked. Such an interesting place. Listen to that. Listen to that. It's probably a deer somewhere. Oh, nope, it's a hog. 1, 2. Watch up front in front of me here. 1, 2. 1, black, 2, 3, 4. See that? Up, 5, 6. All right. Now, there's something to be said about hogs. Despite the fact that they ran away like that, they're not actually afraid of me. They just don't want to be annoyed. That's the reason why they... Oh my, look how pretty it is over there. Wow. It's like a scene out of the movie. Yeah, they just don't want to be annoyed. They're out here frolicking about, uprooting things and hunting grubs and other things. To my best knowledge, no natural fear of humans, other than just the fact that they're annoyed by us. I've actually had a hog, a big one, like 200-pound hog, run at us like 10, 12 years ago. I wasn't cool at all. Don't forget to look back. Florida for you. Get to see multiple habitats in just such a short time. Oh, this is gonna be brutal. That's that clearing. Okay, so the campground, from what I understand, is right around the corner, or at least they turn for it. All right, and then there's a big angry gate. There's somebody's house over there. Way off in the distance. So the reason why there is a clearing here is because way back, and good place to talk about it, because this wasn't here before. This was like the woods, just like that. Way back in 1990s, right, way back in the day, Texas Gas Company, which is responsible for supplying liquid and oh, look at that, somebody's den over there, liquid gas and petroleum and all of that. It was planning a pipeline all the way from Texas all the way to Miami, Florida. So we're talking about a trip in a day and then some. Right? And they secured a whole bunch of permits, and the promise of the gas line and the pipeline and all that stuff, it never really formulated. And then like 30 years passed, and one day they just came, tore out everything, and probably within, I would say, a year, completely destroying our local roads and stuff. Cut a path, laid the pipe, like underneath of this, they dug a ginormous ditch with all sorts of equipment, and essentially put a pipe that goes all the way from Texas all the way to Miami. I think now they're in Wauchula area, Florida, somewhere going further south. And guess what? As you might have expected, we got nothing for it. Nothing for the inconvenience. We got destroyed roads. What else did we get? Whole bunch of nails and tires. All sorts of noise, 24/7. Light pollution, noise pollution, dirt. Destroyed roads, traffic, all sorts of things. And obviously, as you might expect by the tone of my voice, they did not give us any gas. No compensation, nothing. Look at this. We got a giant excavation site on either side. Yeah, I think they were smart to put a campground on the top, because otherwise it would have been feeding skeeters non-stop. unless the trail goes down, in which case it would be stupid. But yes, that's the story of how we have a gas line coming through here with no benefits to us. Going down in elevation. Look at this. Like a tropical jungle paradise out here. Oh, goes down the hill. So much for a vantage point. As you might, oh, a bobcat. Oh, what a special treat. How my day is complete. Here, kitty, 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 kitty. Oh, come on, play nice, come back. Here, kitty, 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 kitty. Oh man, it would be so nice to see her up close. Back in my mountain biking days, I saw a bunch of them. They just run in front of your mountain bike. But look at that, it just disappears. I mean, so perfectly camouflaged. He could be sitting like right there. You wouldn't know. But yeah, they used to run in front of the mountain bike. Just trotting along. I guess they're a little bit more skittish here because there's far less people out here. And this is the campsite, where people come and I'm guessing pitch a tent and stuff. And all that funky stuff. Sing Kumbaya. Oh, look at this. They have, oh, well, that's not really smart, is it? They have a lake over there. And, you know, in any other place, this would be a beautiful thing. But we're in Florida, and right there's alligators. So pitching a tent out here, residents of these parts, look at this, all sorts of trash. No respect whatsoever, bastards. You know, come out here, pollute. And there's a water pump. I wouldn't be surprised if it works, but I wouldn't be surprised if the water is really bad as well. Yeah, so this would have been a nice sort of vista if it wasn't overgrown, because there's water all around. I guess if you fly a drone out here to be able to see what's on the other side. Here's another burrow. See, you never know what you're gonna find out here. See some hogs, see some deer, see a bobcat. Before you know it, there's gonna be a hippopotamus. Just taking a look around what's out here. The benefit of using a 360-degree camera is that you immortalize everything that's around you, but then the editing process is happening at your computer or on your mobile device, whichever you prefer, because sometimes you're able to see things from a completely different vantage point, and sometimes you're able to see things that you've missed entirely. But one thing that I know for a fact that I haven't missed is I am so tired it's not even funny. But as you might expect, there's about I don't know, 2, maybe 3 miles back to the parking lot. So need to persevere. But walking up the hill when you're tired, ooh, oh my gosh. I remember, where the heck were we? South Carolina, Table Rock hike. I kid you not. It was like 10 miles round trip or something like that. First you go completely up, and then you reach the crest, just like so. And then you start walking down the hill to eventually arrive at where you're supposed to be, the vista and the scenic views and everything. And by that point you are beat, because you already walked like 5 miles. And then you have to go up about a mile before you go down about 4 miles. And not 1 mile. Oh. And the thing is, it's not even like, at least in Looking Glass Rock, which is a similar hike over by Highway 276 over there in the Appalachians. You know, the hike back up is short, but in that case, that was like a mile back to the crest, and then 4 miles. Yeah, hiking up the hill when you're tired. Oof. Which is the reason why you need to pace yourself. And drink plenty of fluids and eat right, and it's all a combination of everything, really. Alright, let's rest here for a second, because we're about to embark on nothing but sunlight. Alright, so before I was so rudely interrupted by the camera, now it's going to be rather brutal out in the sun along that particularly unpleasant in the open. Ooh. So we'll see. And the sun is about to come out from the cloud, so that's gonna be absolute hell. Well, we're gonna have to persevere. Because, let's see how long it takes. It's 1:45 now. And the thing is, there's like nowhere to hide from the sun. You know, while location of that campsite is okay, I'll take it, but get in there. Like, this is officially the designated trail out here. Oh my goodness. I think what I'll have to do is get to somewhere and then, I don't know, sit out in the shade or something. Whew. Or maybe I could persevere. Oh, you know what it is? I think I just figured it out. When this trail was first built, or rather put here, this was a forest. And this was a leisurely hike. And when they came here and took all that forest out and put a gas line in here, all we're left with is this, which is anything but a pleasurable hike. I mean, maybe if this was like winter time and temperature was 59 to 65 out in the sun, wouldn't be all that bad. But right now, temperatures are supposed to be approaching high 90s, so let's see what that is now. Right now it says 95, 48 degrees, and says feels 48% humidity and feels like 104. Alright, yeah, that's not gonna work. We're gonna take a break. Because otherwise, you're gonna find me in a fetal position pretty soon. Oh my gosh, guys. Let's see where we are territorially with respect to where we have to get. We're almost halfway-ish. But there's still like 3/4 ways to go. All right. You know, it would be awfully nice of the gas company to put shade along the way, plant trees or something, anything. So for those of you that are thinking of coming out here and doing this hike, I would highly advise that you just don't even take this leg. Like at the turn over there, just go and take the turn. And if you have to get to the campground, then go the lone route. Because this is just... whew. It would be really nice right about now to see a park ranger with an ATV stop here and be like, hey, you need a ride? And I'm like, why, certainly. But as if that's gonna happen. You know what gives me a little bit of a comfort is that the place where I have to go, like straight up ahead, has a wall of trees. So as you get close to it, that wall becomes sort of like, all right, well, there it is. That's the finish line. Because when you look the other way, you can't even see that. So but still, that's quite some distance to go in such a high heat, high humidity out in the sun like this. And that's the thing, you don't need a sunscreen if you're in the shade. You don't need a hat if you're in the shade. But for things like this, ugh. You know, I bet if I had a mountain bike, I'd be there in a jiffy. Alright, shade. The preferable thing would have been to have a way to get on the other side of this water feature, because that's where the trail is. The like when I kept saying that, oh, I see a clearing, it's on the other side of the trees over there. So there's water, and then it goes up the hill, and it's right there. So what they should have done was, from the campground, make a right and make a right sort of deal. But no. I wonder if I stick, at least I'll get some of the shit. Well, no, didn't get a lot over there. I should mention that thankfully I have plenty of water. I have enough and then some, but still. So with stops, it's been like 13 minutes that I've been walking. And the distance, at least according to, is effectively 1 mile. So I think I'll be doing 1 mile in half an hour or so. That's my pace. See the difference between being out in the sun and in the shade? In the shade, I was easily going, I don't know, 4 miles an hour, 3 miles an hour. Here I'm doing maybe 2 miles an hour. Yes, it's not too bad. Still. Alright. Ooh, I could feel the heat. Oh my gosh. Alright. Where are we gonna? Alright. Know your limits, guys. Know your limits. Well, if you have to, I guess it is possible. Like me, you're gonna have to start finding creative ways to offset the environmental conditions, seek shade, that sort of stuff. You know, maybe if this was like early on into the hike, in the beginning, it would be easier. But this later in the day, with the sun in full swing, and humidity is so high, and temperature so high. Oof. Horseflies are attacking again. Now, for obvious reasons, being out in the sun like this, it's no joke. Serious business. I've had to rescue a girl from this part. Not in this park, but about, I don't know, 10 miles south of here. This would have been, I don't know, 2012 maybe, or thereabouts. In the sun like this, had to carry my 40-pound drone backpack while simultaneously dragging unconscious female who, to give you a backstory, that was a sort of like an Ironman marathon thing, right? And she took the wrong turn and veered away from where she was supposed to be. And I'm hiking, flying my drone, and as a matter of fact, it's in my channel promo, the videos out of it. And I see the girl, she is running, and then she literally just falls right on top of me. So had to drag her all the way back. No cell signal, nothing. And so I'm on the parking lot. Of course, other runners are stopping to help and yada yada yada. So the medical professional, that's really a joke, wasn't a medical professional, it was more like a marathon organizer person, arrived on a golf cart and was about to call 911 when her mom pulls up in a car, acting all livid and everything. She was enjoying a glass of wine and drinking, driving, that sort of stuff. And she didn't want to take her to the hospital or to the doctor or anything, so the girl is like half unconscious. I gave them my cup, which they stole, bastards. But that's the story of how I rescued a girl and had to drag her easily, I don't know, a mile and a half or so back to the parking lot through grass just like this, out in the sun. And if you ever had to drag a lifeless body, it is no fun at all. Never got her name, no idea what happened afterwards. But alright, so we're gonna have to do a little zig and zag over here into the shade. That's where I need to get, but that's where I'm going. Take a much needed break. So guys, I appreciate you sticking with me all this time. I'm gonna leave you here because you've already seen the rest of it. But I'm gonna take a much needed break, recuperate, rejuvenate, and then find my way back to the parking lot. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on another adventure.